You have confessed as a witness of truth, even right here on oath, yes, that you were one of those that plunged this country into the catastrophe we're in right now.
Certainly not.
Listen, witness. Listen, witness.
Sir,
listen, witness. Let me ask you.
Can I say something? I never said any such thing.
Listen to me. Just you've answered in the negative.
The January coup was
listen to me.
As a result of other events.
Will you agree with me that the January 15, 1966 coup had eventually led to the emergence of the Civil War?
No. No. Let's start from the beginning. You must go from the genesis. The genesis is the killings, political killings in Nigeria.
There is this controversy which goes around whether or not that January 15, 1966 coup can be referred to an entire Igbo affair or an Igbo coup.
It is not an Igbo affair.
I agree. All that I'm asking you is this. Now, can you give us an hypothetical situation where you can say the Igbos are not marginalized? What do you want? What exactly do you want? Yes. What exactly do you want?
Let me tell you what I want.
Yes.
And I believe that Ohaneze wants it. And my Lord, I thank my questioner for asking me this question. What I want in this country is for the return of merit. If we do everything on merit, there will be no problem. Every state, every ethnic group will gain merit, not on anything on basis of tribe, not on basis of where you come from.
Hello everyone and welcome back. Thank you so much for stopping by once again. So my people, after IBB highlighted in his new book that 1966 coup, not Igbo coup. So there have been like a lot of reactions and there are a lot of videos have been coming up. But in this particular video, I want you guys to listen attentively because one of the key plotter of that particular coup is Captain Ben Bule. Like he is one of the witnesses in this court proceedings, like he narrated everything that took place as well as what led to Biafra war. Yes, my people, because there have been like a lot of narrative out there that 1966 coup is Igbo coup. And why the main beneficiary is a Yoruba man, Awolowo. According to Ojukwu, let me just read that here. He said that the intention of that coup plotters was to release Awolowo from prison and make him prime minister, and that was no Igbo coup. So that is what Ojukwu said. But still, you guys know that this hatred, towards Igbos, is already there. Even if you keep telling them like what really happened, they will never believe. They love to, believe that narrative there that yes, this is Igbo coup. But there's something that really shocked me within these 2 days because IBB said that Abiola won that particular election. They even murdered him as well as his wife. But up to now, I'm not seeing Yorubas, like I'm not seeing their reaction. Like, why are they quiet? Anyway, that is not what we are talking about here. Let's just listen to this particular video, my people. I'm going to be right back.
Between the 14th and 16th of January 1966, whether you are in Lagos, in Enugu, or in Kaduna.
My Lord, I have made exhaustive statement on this issue at Enugu.
This is cross-examination. I can't make a statement. You don't know what the question they will ask you. Answer his questions. That's all, one by one.
All right. I was at Kaduna.
And you are a party to the preparation and execution of the attempted coup of January 15th, 1966.
I was a party to the failed coup of January 1966.
Yes. Your final plan towards the coup was discussed and agreed upon during your exercise at Kachia.
There is no truth on that at all.
Okay.
I did not go to Kachia for any exercise to start with.
Very good.
I attended a battle group course at Abeokuta.
No, you have answered the question. In Kaduna, the operation or the attempted coup was led by Major Chukuma Nzegu.
Correct.
Yes. After the Premier of Northern Nigeria late Sir Ahmad Bello was murdered along with his wife, and the governor of northern Nigeria was arrested, Chukwuma made a broadcast suspending the government of northern Nigeria.
That is correct.
He also suspended the legislature of northern Nigeria.
That is absolutely correct.
In Ibadan, one Captain Nwobosi led the operation where the Premier Chiba Kintola was killed.
No, that is correct.
But the government of Western Nigeria was not suspended. If you know, if you don't know, say you don't know.
It is not a question of not knowing or knowing. I know it was not
Suspended, very good.
because of
No,
a
that's
reason.
all right, that's all right,
Exactly.
that's all right. Now, at the federal level, the President, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, was out of the country. The Prime Minister, late Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, and the Honorable Minister of Finance were murdered or were killed, and the federal government was not suspended.
At the federal level,
Yes.
Ironsi aborted the coup. So, and Ironsi took over, isn't it?
He aborted the coup.
He aborted the coup of January 66.
Yes, at the time those who organized the coup suspended the government of northern Nigeria, the federal government was not suspended.
The coup took place on the 14th, 15th night.
Yes.
By the following day, Nzogu made a broadcast.
When did
By
the-
the following day, Ironsi had aborted the coup in Lagos.
Are you aware of the fact that Major General Ironsi announced that the power was handed over to him by the remaining members of the Council of Ministers through Dr. Orizu? Are you aware?
My lord, Ironsi was not part of us.
I didn't say he was part of you.
Ironsi was a reactionary. And
Listen to the question,
what he
please.
said or what he did was his business.
It is also the business of this commission. It is our business. If you know, please answer you know. Were you aware that Ironsi announced that the remaining members of the Council of Ministers, through Dr. Orizu,
I had it over the radio.
very good, handed over power to him to restore
I
law?
had it over the radio.
Thank you very much. It was because Major General Ironsi aborted the coup and declared the organizers of that coup as mutineers. That was why you people were arrested.
And detained, yes.
Yes. You were detained, but you were never tried.
You are absolutely correct.
Yes. Now, it is also correct that 4 senior commissioned and combatant military officers in Lagos, Brigadier Mamalari, Colonel Kur Mohammed, Lieutenant Colonel Pam, and Lieutenant Colonel Lagerma, were killed during that coup.
You are very correct. But let me add.
No, I don't want you
I
to
must add
I don't
because-
want you to add, please.
But I must add.
You answer my question.
My
please.
lord, this is an occasion for providing information.
You had your
I
time.
must add.
You had your time. This is my time, please.
I must add to clarify what you are saying.
My lord, let him
I
answer my
must give
question.
you information. You talked about our not being.
Hold it, please. Yes. Keep it cool.
All
I
right.
thought we were on a fine facting crusade.
Exactly, I must
So
add.
can you prevent him adding to the fact that will help us? But if it's a catechism, yes and no.
Yes.
Yes, it's a straightforward
what do you want me
question. I don't
to
know
do?
what he
I
wants to
must
add,
add.
my lord.
Well, under the rules of examination and cross-examination, you let a witness answer your question
And he answered my question.
the way you
I have
like.
not finished. I must add that we were not tried. But even when Gawan took over after the overthrow of Ironsi, he did not try us.
If that is all you
He
want to
did
add.
not try us.
If that is all
Our
you want to-
leader,
thank
he-
Answer questions. Listen. He
Yes, sir.
has to ask another question.
Yes, sir.
I don't know what you're answering. You listen to his questions.
Now, you answered questions earlier that there was a coup in Kaduna where the political leaders were killed. There was a coup in Lagos where the Prime Minister and Minister of Finance were killed, and there was a coup in Ibadan. There was no coup in Enugu, no attempted coup in Enugu.
There was.
Listen now. There was no takeover of government or murder or assassination of anybody in Enugu and Midwest.
and this I explained in my book, Nigeria's 5 Majors.
Thank you very much. Now, you did not make any attempt to arrest Ironsi.
An attempt was made. In fact, I'm told that it was, if I may say this right now, and that it was Colonel Pang who phoned him and alerted him and he fled.
You did not make any attempt to arrest Ojukwu in Kano.
An attempt, you haven't read my book. You should have read my book.
I'm not interested in your book. I want to know.
Okay,
I want
an
the
attempt
facts.
was made to arrest him. An attempt was made to co-opt people in Kano. And you don't see, I'm sorry, I'm awfully sorry about talking about you don't say. Ojukwu arrested our man. And it's my book, and you know it. You have a copy of that there.
In Kaduna, you also killed Brigadier Ademalokun and Colonel Shodende, who were the only two senior Yoruba officers there.
Brigadier Ademolegun was killed. There is no doubt in that.
What of Colonel Shodende?
Shodende was killed. It's all in my book. I mean, you should read it.
Thank you very much. Yes. I want to hear what you will say on oath here, not in your book.
All right.
Okay.
May it please, my Lord, I'm sorry to interrupt. There is evidence already before this commission about the coup. My learned friend has been going on about who and who were killed. Exhibit 8 is a book written by him where, pardon? In 1981, where he listed all these things he's asking him now.
Yes.
The issue here, if there are any untrue statements in the book, which is in evidence, he wants to clarify as affecting the ACF. Let him put it to him, but to continue to rehearse the evidence given before, I think.
Well, I don't want to appear as asking too many questions, but in cross-examination and examination in chief and re-examination, there's something called notorious facts. Is that correct?
My Lord, it depends.
Many books have been written. All these things are there.
My Lord,
We've read all of them.
He is the only surviving person who participated in the coup.
Absolutely wrong.
Was he in
Evidence on
Kaduna?
oath.
All right, ask.
Yes.
If there's nothing like notorious fact, you can address us on them. But if they're notorious.
My Lord,
he is wrong. I'm not the only one surviving.
Nobody asked you a question yet.
you are one of the survivors.
Go on.
Now, when you are, from the records, we saw that when you are being cross-examined by the council to the commission in Enugu, you said it was the North that waged war on Biafra.
The North, in fact, the first division from the North descended on Biafra from Nsukka.
Is that the first division of Northern Nigerian Army?
Of course, it is not first division of Northern Nigerian Army, but it was commanded by the Northern troops, Northern officers and men.
And that's your basis of saying it was the North that waged war on Biafra?
I said actually it was Nigeria that waged war, not Biafra waging war on Nigeria.
No, you said the North in your evidence.
It must be lapsus linguae.
Thank you very much. Now, you said it was in your book and in your evidence that the coup at 1966 January was long overdue.
That was what I felt. That was my opinion.
Do you still feel that a military coup is the best solution to political problems of countries such as Nigeria? Now, as you are there now on oath.
The situation in 1966 cannot by any means be equated to the situation now in Nigeria.
Now, do you agree? Now, what I'm saying is, maybe you don't understand my question.
I do understand your question. In 1966, how I felt then might not necessarily be how I feel now.
Okay. Do you still believe that military as an alternative to political government or to democratic government is the best solution?
Right now that I am an old man, I feel otherwise.
Okay. And you know that that first attempt you made was the beginning of the military incursion into democratic rule in Nigeria.
Very right. It is not the handover or button changing that you keep having after that.
Okay. Now the Ohaneze petition and your evidence said there was to be a planned jihad on January 17th. It came from your evidence.
I said it's in my book, which was published in 1981.
Listen to my question, please.
Yes, I said so.
Now, immediately after talking about the jihad, they said the coupists.
There's nothing called.
Listen now, those who planned the coup is the same thing.
They are coup plotters.
Yes, the coup plotters, it doesn't matter. The coup plotters were to install Chief Awolowo as the president.
That's what they plan to do.
Which of them? Those who plan the jihad or your own, those who
You
plan?
see, you talk about planning the jihad. Those of us concerned with the coup of January 66 did not plan any jihad.
Yes.
In fact, they carried the coup, they moved fast to preempt jihad. That's what I said.
Listen,
And
no.
it's so well recorded.
No, it's not question of well recorded. You see, you planned a coup.
Beautiful.
The Ohaneze petition alleged that that coup was to prevent a jihad on the 17th.
Beautiful.
The following sentence in their petition says, those coup plotters wanted to install Chief Awolowo as the president of Nigeria. Something is amiss somewhere. Is it your group that wanted to install Chief Awolowo or the jihadists? That's what I want you to clear to the
The
commission.
book I tendered here is very specific on it. Awolowo was to come and be the head of government.
That's your arrangement.
Our own, yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay. Now you said elsewhere that failure to execute successfully the coup in Enugu was what led to the civil war.
You see, again, you haven't read my book, or you didn't even hear what I said.
Listen, I read your evidence before the commission in Enugu.
Then
certified true copy from the
That's
commission.
not what I said. Let me tell you exactly what I said.
What did you say?
You did a coup in July 1966. There were two coups in Nigeria in
There was a
1966.
coup. I didn't
Just
do
a
any-
minute. Let me tell you what I said.
Okay.
I said that the failure of the second coup, that is the July coup, failure of the July coup to succeed at Enugu was the one that caused the civil war. It is not the first coup.
I didn't say the first coup. I said July.
I didn't take part in July coup. You did.
Listen, you said failure of the coup in Enugu was what led to the civil war. Is that what?
Failure of the July coup to succeed at Enugu was the one that led to the civil war.
How? If you can explain. to
Beautiful.
the
Let me
commission.
explain. Because the coup failed, Ojukwu, who was the governor of Eastern region at that time, was neither killed nor arrested. Ojukwu started actually contesting the legality of Gowon's taking over power. And it is this contestation of the legality that brought about the sharp division between the East and Lagos. All right? And it is this that led to Aburi. It is this that led to the civil war. In fact, it is the one that was responsible. And in fact, I place the blame on the doorstep of those who did the coup of July 1966. That's what I said.
So those who planned the coup of July 1966 and Colonel Ojukwu were responsible for the civil war. Is that what you're saying?
You can put it out after your fashion. What I know is that had they succeeded, you see, you were blaming January coup for not taking place at Enugu. And yet you didn't blame the July coup for not succeeding at Enugu.
The difference is that the January coup failed. The July coup did not fail.
Exactly. If January coup had failed, I wouldn't be sitting here answering questions. You would have made me Major General or something.
Now, do you believe that Igbos are being marginalized?
Of course, Igbos are being marginalized.
Okay.
Let me tell you something.
Wait, you have answered my question. Now, one of your witnesses said Igbos are everywhere in this country and doing everything. They are so friendly and they are involved in every trade and business in every nook and corner of this country.
Is that how you appreciate?
Answer the question.
Is that how you appraise marginalization?
Answer the question.
Every individual, let me tell you what is wrong with this country.
Sorry, my lord.
Every individual
My lord, I want you to answer my
struggles
question.
on his own. Every individual. So Igbos being everywhere shows that Igbos are the best Nigerians. They are the best Nigerians. They are everywhere. They are true Nigerians.
You should have waited for my question.
No, but I must preempt even your question. You see, Igbos, if you are talking about marginalization, it isn't in terms of Igbos individually working as individuals.
In what context is the marginalization?
Exactly. For instance, the question of appointments, the question of things that belong to us in general, in fact, even the question of depriving Igbos of their rights. This is marginalization.
Now, you said in the Ohaneze petition that Igbos are only one out of 400 ethnic groups in this country. You agree?
Could you please restrict yourself to the statements I made?
You are supposed to answer my questions.
I
If you
didn't-
don't know, say you don't know.
Uche Chukwumereji has answered that kind of question. I am dealing with January coup, and that Ohaneze has partitioned everything. My compartment is January coup 66.
My friend, you are here as the witness to the commission, and it is my right to ask you questions, and you have an obligation to answer them. If you don't know how to answer, say you don't know.
The truth
You
is
should not-
that you said that I falsified history. I want to know
I didn't
where
say-
in my statement, it is in your letter. I want to know where in my statement
I
I
said it is
falsified
in the
history.
record of Ohaneze, and you are their witness. And you agree with me that Ohaneze are complaining of marginalization.
Of course.
Now, do you agree with what Ohaneze said?
I agree that Ohaneze is right in saying that Igbos are marginalized.
And they are also right in saying that there are over 400 ethnic groups in Nigeria.
There are too many, even more than 400 if you like.
And you also agree with what they said, that the Igbos constitute about 16% of the population of this country.
I would have said actually 25%.
Okay. Now, do you have any statistics to show that the Igbos in appointments do not have up to 25% in the federal service? Do you have any statistics?
My
If
lord,
you don't have, say you don't
let
have.
me answer it. Don't rush me. How can you have statistics when we don't have true census figures in Nigeria?
I'm not talking
How
of.
can you? You are talking about statistics. Let us have census figures first.
Because we don't have census figure, then we don't have statistics.
Then you are imagining
of appointments in
A
federal.
lot of people are dreaming dreams in this country. Some people put the population of this Nigeria at 120 million. Some said 100. Some said 100. When are we going to have our figures? True figures.
Please answer my question. We're talking about appointments. You said you are being marginalized in appointments. Do you have any statistics to show that you do not have up to 25%?
Ohaneze can supply that,
Listen.
and I believe that Ohaneze has supplied that.
They have not supplied it.
Well, you go to Ohaneze to supply it.
No.
Let me go on what I know.
Now, military regimes, just like the one you wanted to bring in, come on their own. And when they rule as military regimes.
Sometimes, not all the time.
Not all the times.
If you like, I name your military regimes that used civilians to get on with rulership or governance.
Just like civilians use you in 66. Or there was never any military regime in this country that ruled without civilians.
Fair
That
enough.
ruled without civilians.
Good. I'm happy you are confirming it. That's what I said.
Yes. And there was never any military regime in this country that ruled without representation from across this country.
We never ruled Nigeria.
No, I'm not talking.
We of January 66 never ruled Nigeria. So you are not in a position to know who should have been in the government if we actually wanted to rule Nigeria.
Okay. Now, in 1966, 60% of the officers of the Nigerian army were Igbos.
60% of the officer corps
Were
of the
Igbos.
Nigerian. That is, in fact, an estimate, yes.
Yes. And at that time, from your evidence and your book, one of the things worrying the Igbo officers was that there was the Nigerianization of the army, and some people were insisting on quota.
You know, I took advantage of Nigerianization of the army. So I could not condemn Nigerianization of the army.
No, I'm not saying you.
What we took exception from was the question of anybody in trousers becoming an officer. That's what we took exception from.
Okay. Now, when you left the army as a captain.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
I didn't leave the army. I was bundled into prison.
Okay, and then from there dismissed or retired.
Up till tomorrow, we were not tried, so I don't know whether it's dismissed or retired.
And all this is because you were involved in the January 66.
Exactly.
General
And
Enjuma.
as I told you, even Gawan did not try us.
Yes.
Rather, he gave one of us, our leader, he gave our leader a military burial and gave him full military honors whilst he detained us. And you could kill Ironsi for not trying us. And he left that gentleman for not trying us either.
Now, at the time you planned the coup, or you were planning the coup, you knew that if the coup failed, your career in the army is finished.
Fantastic, you are right.
Then
I knew.
Yes. Then why were you complaining that some of your mates were major generals?
You see, the trouble is that
they didn't plan a coup. They were good Nigerians. That's why they became major generals.
A lot of them became major generals because of coups.
Successful
and in fact,
coups.
they promoted themselves. You should have known that. Why are you laughing? You should have known that. They promoted themselves. That's why other countries laugh at us. Please go ahead.
Yes, I'll go ahead, Mr. Bule. Mr. Bule, now in your book, you tried to state the reasons why you people gathered to organize the coup.
You're right.
Now, thinking back now, do you still regard those reasons as valid?
Very.
Listen, for a military takeover instead of a democratic change of government. You understand the question?
The reasons were as valid then as they are valid today. The killings in the West and the killings in TV area prompted, in fact, an action from us. And there were other reasons. Now, other reasons, they're all enumerated in the book I had tendered.
Now, you use the word, the rank colonel now, because you are promoted in the Biafran army.
Beautiful.
And
I prefer it.
And Ojukwu also promoted himself.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I don't know. When he comes, you will ask him.
Now, from certain publications we read, credited to you, you were not in very good terms with Ojukwu.
I am happy you said this.
Yes.
In other words, I have my own views on every issue. I am happy you said this.
Yes.
Because I fought the war on the Biafran side. I criticized Ojukwu for taking certain measures. And I'm happy you have my book there, The Fall of Biafra. I have my own views, just as I had my own views in Nigeria when I was an army officer, and my views tallied with some views by other people.
Now, do you know that, like I said earlier, in every corner of this country, there are Igbos living peacefully with other Nigerians?
Living peacefully?
Yes, with other Nigerians.
Well, there are Igbos, correct, but living peacefully, I don't know. Because they are being murdered at every turn. They are being slaughtered at every turn. Anytime there was any riot, they are slaughtered. And you should have known that too.
Are you speaking on facts or on what you read on the pages of newspapers?
Well, all I can tell you is that there's even a case here.
Akaloka
case is still
there
here.
Are Igbos across northern Nigeria.
And probably Akaloka is living happily, isn't he? Probably.
Do you know what Akaluka did? You brought the issue. Do you know what Akaluka did? Do you know the facts?
Whatever he did.
Listen, do you know the facts?
Whatever he did, he should have been subjected to the rule of law.
Listen, do you know the facts?
The rule of law should have applied.
Do you know the facts about Akaluka?
You said that I listened to the radio and I read the papers.
Look,
I read the papers.
Oh, so
all I know is that he is not alive today to even deny what he's been said to have done.
Do you know that as a result of Akaluka, 20 House of people were killed?
That is what you said. We have not been told this. Have you sent any delegation to Igbo land to explain the Akaluka issue? Have you sent any delegation to Igbo land?
You are not supposed to ask me questions. You have to answer my questions.
I'm sorry. I'm awfully sorry, my lord.
Okay.
All I can tell you is that you are begging the question with regard to Akaloka because he's not around. He's dead already.
Now, in your book, you warned Nzegu that because, listen now, that because of the number of Igbo officers organizing the January 66 coup, it could be misunderstood as an Igbo coup.
Number one.
Did you warn him, please?
I didn't warn Nzegu. There was no Nzegu. That's number one. Number two.
I am not an Igbo man. I may not
know how to you must try and pronounce the words properly. Number two, I didn't warn Nzogu. If you read my book, I was discussing with Onwa Tuegu.
With whoever you are discussing,
Good.
you warned. Did you warn?
Now,
that,
let me explain that.
Listen to the question first.
I have listened to the question. I leap ahead. Now,
No, listen, my friend, listen. I call you here to ask you questions.
All right, sir.
And this is a court of law. This is not a military barrack, please. Now, what you said in the book is that people may understand that coup as an Igbo coup because over 90% of those planning the coup were Igbos. Is that correct?
That is not what I said.
What did you say?
What I said that people might take this to be an Igbo coup.
Why?
But I didn't say 90% was not there.
Why did you say so?
There was no 90%.
Why did you say people
Good.
might?
I asked Onwa Tuegu who are in this. He named certain people. Although he named Ademoyega too, I felt that the Nigerian public, being tribalistic, would deem this as an Igbo coup. I said so.
Very
but
good.
that is what is called value judgment.
Okay.
In other words, not taking into consideration the facts. Now, if you read that thing down, you would have seen where he said, oh, but we're releasing Awolowo. Do you know what I said? In other words, the Yorubas are using us. You failed to read that one. You read about the thing being an Igbo coup.
I'm interested in the issue raised by Ohaneze in your petition, that it was wrong for anybody to assume it was an Igbo coup.
It is wrong till tomorrow for anybody to assume that is an Igbo coup.
When
that person would have committed what is called value judgment, a judgment not based on facts. That was what I meant.
When you killed all the northern and Yoruba political and military leaders, and you didn't kill your own?
What about Colonel Unegbe? And by the way, let me also explain. Colonel Unegbe was killed in Lagos.
Why?
Not because he did not hand over any key. I am happy that IBM Haruna, a soldier, is here. He knows that no quartermaster general holds a key to anything armory.
Why was he killed?
He knows he was killed. It's in my book, which I tendered. He was killed because he was accused of making money from his job. In other words, he was a quartermaster general. He was making money from his job. So he was enriching himself. That was why he was killed.
So he was not.
So I want to correct this mistake.
So he was not a victim of that attempted coup.
He was killed.
No, listen. Brigadier Mamalari, Kur Muhammad and the rest were killed as part of the coup. This one was killed because he was making money. So he was not killed as part of the execution of that coup. Is that what you're saying?
My Lord, there were various reasons why the coup took place.
Okay.
There were various, in fact, Hydra-headed reasons why the coup took place. Some people enriched themselves and they were killed. Some people were involved in the killings in the West and the TV area, and they were killed. Some people did a lot of other unsavory things. By the way, they talk about killing, and I'm repeating what I said at Enugu. It was never decided that anybody should be killed.
Now, why was
people disagreed on what should happen? I don't know how many coups you've taken part in, but it is never decided this man must be killed, that person will be killed, but you depend on what you see on the ground.
So if there was opportunity to kill, you kill. What do you mean by you depend on what you see on the ground?
These are soldiers, you know. Depending, for instance, if you are fired at, you fire back. All right? It's as simple as that. And I gave an example of somebody who wasn't killed. He was.
Do you know why Sardona was killed along with his wife?
Do you know it's in the book?
Simple.
Why must I repeat?
I told you we need your evidence here.
But the commission here has read my book. If they have not read my book, they probably are reading it now.
Nigerians want to hear what you will say of the reason behind killing Sardona and his wife.
You talk about killing again. I was not the one who went to the house. Even though, I must tell you this, I take full responsibility for the coup of January 66 because it was a collective responsibility.
Very good. Okay, are you aware of the reason from your coup plotters why Sardona was murdered with his wife?
If you don't know the reason by now, then I'm afraid you should go and find out.
My Lord,
it's all in my book.
My Lord, the witness should be told that he's supposed to answer my question.
You are whipping up emotions. I don't want to get involved in that.
Answer a simple question simply. It will make us progress. And then when counsel is asking, you have no right to retort.
All right, sir.
Thank you, my lord.
Sorry, my lord.
Now, you said there were always reasons why they killed. Why was, if you know, Sadona killed along with his wife?
Nzogu attacked Sadana's residence. Nzogu, if you read the script, was attacked himself.
And that was why they had to kill him.
Nzogu returned fire. Nzogu, if you were alive but he's dead, would have told you exactly why he did what he did. What we wanted to do was to overthrow the government of Nigeria. To overthrow the government and stop madness.
And overthrowing the government means suspending the government of northern Nigeria, leaving the government of western Nigeria,
you see,
and then deliberately refusing to arrest Ironsi.
Let me elucidate this matter. It is true that Akintola was killed in the West. And then Fani Kayode was arrested and taken to Lagos. That is the RV, rendezvous. Now, when the soldiers got to Lagos, they found that Ironsi's troops had already seized Lagos. And so they ran helter-skelter. And as you well know, some people ran to Ghana, some ran to other places. And therefore, there was no time to declare anything in the West. You should have known that.
And there was no time to arrest or kill Okpara in the East.
Again, we talked about Okpara having been receiving somebody from abroad, a head of state from Cyprus. Macarius, Archbishop Macarius.
You gave that
and he was arrested as soon as, and by the way, one of you was the one who took over the radio station. Even though he's dead again and he can't say his own mind. Now
listen,
it was Jallo who took over the station.
My friend, we're not here for stories.
What I'm trying to tell you is
restrict yourself to my answers to my questions, please. Now, you gave consideration to the fact that Okpara was expecting a guest.
Not expecting, he had a guest.
Yes, he had a guest.
Listen
now,
listen. He was arrested.
Listen to the question. Now, in some of the books written by some of your coup plotters, you had to wait for Sir Ahmad Bello to return from Lesser Hajj to execute the coup.
I wrote that in my book.
Yes, why did you do that?
And
if the intention was not to deliberately kill him.
It is the truth. If you did not wait for him to return, he might bring in troops from abroad, particularly from Saudi Arabia or from any of the Islamic countries.
Why didn't you wait for Dr. Azikwe to come back?
I haven't even thought about Azikwe because, you see, he was so innocuous that, in fact, as far as we were concerned, he was not endangering anybody.
He was not because he is Igbo?
No, not at all.
Why?
There were others who were not Igbos, who were not endangering anyone. What about Awolowo? Was he killed?
Now listen, recently, you know Chief Ajuluchukwu?
I know Chief Ajuluchukwu, he's my brother.
Yes.
Yes.
He recently gave an interview.
Yes.
And he said Dr. Azikwe was aware of the coup and that was why he left the country. Are you aware of that? Simple.
Say that again, please.
That Dr. Azikwe was aware of the planned coup and that was why he ran out of the country.
If Ajuluchukwu said that,
it's not the issue. Whether you two are aware, that's the question.
No. You don't put words into anybody's mouth. If Ajuluchukwu said that, he is entitled to his own views altogether.
I want to hear your own view. I want to hear your own view.
But I will be surprised, in fact shocked, if Ajuluchukwu ever said that.
He did.
All the same, I said I will be shocked because you people are prone to, putting words into people's mouths. Now, the thing is this. With regard to Zik knowing or not knowing, we were anti-Zik. If you recall that Nzogu talked to Sakashim Ibrahim, he said these people like Azik, we were an Okpara and others we were looking for. If you recall, and it's written down in black and white in your own book.
That is not the question. The question is simple. Are you aware that Zik knew about the coup and that was why
How could I know that Zik knew about the coup? I was at Kaduna.
I
was resident at Kaduna.
How did you know that they killed Tafawa Balewa in Lagos?
Say again.
How did you know they killed and they could not arrest Iran?
From the radio.
Why didn't you hear this from the radio? You were part and parcel of the coup plotters. You know all those who sponsored you, and you know those you dealt with.
My lord, no coup plotter. My lord, no coup plotter is ubiquitous. It's not everywhere.
You were aware that during the period you were planning the coup, there was Commonwealth Conference holding on in Lagos.
Of course, I know. And even when it came to a close.
And yet you killed Tafawa Balewa, you killed Brigadier Maimalari.
He wasn't killed on the day of the Commonwealth Conference.
You waited for them to go first.
They were not killed on the day of the Commonwealth Conference.
Okay.
Let me put this to you, that
you
Opara would have been killed.
Listen,
if
you have no right to put anything to me, please.
It will take another 4 years before you start putting it to him.
Yes.
You got to go
My
to
lord,
law
I should have
first.
read law. All right, let me expatiate.
I don't want to hear it. You are aware that Brigadier Maimalari was killed on his party's wedding day, the day he was organizing a party for his wedding.
I heard he was killed and I wept.
Very good.
Because this is where I said everybody didn't agree about killing anybody.
Okay.
They had disagreements. So people were allowed to use their initiative. What you see on the ground is what matters. I wept because he was my mentor. He was captain when I was an officer cadet.
Now, were you told why Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa was killed, was murdered, and his body thrown in the bush?
I was even told that he wasn't killed. I don't know, what about you are talking about killing?
Yes, Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, you were told he
I know that when some people went to Abeokuta to get armored vehicle and they couldn't, they came back and found Ironsi's troops all over the place and ran away. Those who had the prime minister, I'm told, dumped him in a bush. How they dumped him in a bush, I wasn't told.
No, as one of the coup plotters, did you hear the reason why he was killed?
If you read my book, you see it was zoned. I was in the north. I was at Kaduna.
Please answer my question. Did you hear why he was killed?
I wasn't told.
Was there any justification given for killing him or for murdering him?
Are you saying by hindsight or then?
By the coup plotters.
Well, you see, people were being killed everywhere, particularly in the West. And so, if I may sound charitable, well, not uncharitable, if he was party to other killings, then if he was killed, it's one of those things.
Now, since you are based in the north,
yes,
you must have heard that immediately after Sardana was killed, or maybe a few weeks after, there was this picture being circulated in markets and streets of Nzegu and Samad Bello, which some northerners regarded as very provocative.
I am happy you mentioned this.
Yes.
I was thrown into Kirikiri. Taken down.
When?
From in fact, about within the first week of the coup, I was thrown into Kirikiri with others. Now, I am given to understand much later that it was because Nelson Atta Publishing Drum did something in respect of publicizing Sir Ahmad Bello. All right? No sane person would like that.
Thank you very much.
But why is it that the same Nelson Atta, during the war, you took him to work for you? You didn't kill him, but you killed the women in the marketplace. Why did you do that?
My friend, listen. I'm happy that you agreed that when Nelson Atta published it, people naturally overreacted.
Of course.
Thank you very much.
But
that's all for him.
Why did you not kill Nelson Atta?
That's all right from me. Thank you.
Why did you not kill Nelson Atta?
Is very happy that you are here.
I've thanked you, yes.
Having participated actively as a planner, as an executor.
I was co-opted.
As probably a prospective beneficiary of the coup of 1966. And in fact, this is not in dispute because even in your book, I am very impressed by the way you summarized it at the epitome, and I would just like to read a portion out of it.
Please do so.
Now, you said as follows, that the coup d'etat of 1966, which has had a fundamental and permanent impact on the political and social life of Nigeria, has generated a good deal of literature. Much, if not all, of such literary output has been based mostly on second-hand accounts and on mere half-truths often colored by prejudice and misguided sentiments. Then you went further to say, in Nigeria's 5 measures, which you wrote,
Yes.
one of the key planners and executors of the coup gives the first ever factual first-hand inside account.
Beautiful.
Now, I agree with you in respect of this analysis in the sense that you have confessed as a witness of truth, even right here on earth,
Yes.
that you were one of those that plunged this country into the catastrophe we're in right now.
Certainly not. That's
Listen,
not what I
witness.
said.
Listen, witness.
Sir,
Listen, witness.
my
Let me
lord,
ask
can
you.
I say
Listen.
something? I never
Listen,
said any
witness.
such thing.
Listen to me. Just you've answered in the negative.
The January coup was
Listen to me.
as
I'm
a
not allowing
result
you to
of
do that.
other events.
Will you agree with me that the January 15, 1966 coup had eventually led to the emergence of the Civil War?
No. No. Let's start from the beginning. You must go from the genesis. The genesis is the killings, political killings in Nigeria, both in the West and in the TV area. All right? The killings, then of course, the other Hydra-headed problems Nigeria had caused the coup of January 66.
Yes, I have heard that.
The January 66 attracted the July coup. The July coup attracted the creation of states. The creation of states attracted Biafra. Biafra attracted the war, not the January coup 66.
What I am
That is
telling
a
you-
conglomeration of events, and you must take them into
Listen, you
consideration.
see, what I want you to understand is one event led to the other.
Beautiful. That's
Right
what-
from the nationalistic days before the independence
Yes.
in this country.
Yes.
This country had been living in harmony, in peace, and not in pieces.
That is not true.
Wait a minute. Now, are you aware of a book written by Chief Obafemi Awolowo, his autobiography?
I'm not aware of it.
You are not, you have never seen this book?
I have never set eyes on it.
But you know Awolowo, late Awolowo.
Of course I know.
Yes, and you are not aware of this book, which touches.
Awolowo is entitled to his opinion. I don't
agree.
know what you are getting at.
I agree. You will also agree with me that this document, this literature work, which is an exhibit for this court,
Yes.
is also entirely your opinion.
It's partly my opinion and partly my experience.
Yes, that is your
Partly
opinion.
my opinion, partly my experience.
I am not asking you for the substratum of this book, but I'm telling you it is your own personal opinion. I'm not asking you for the reasons.
I am giving a story the way I saw it. I am not making any judgment.
Now, I will read a portion of this book.
It is not relevant to me.
It will be relevant. You don't even know what I'm saying. You have made up your mind as to what to say. Listen to me. I'm going to tell you something out of this text, and I want you to agree with it or disagree with it. You don't know whether you will even agree with it. It's not everything I say that you disagree with it. Please listen to me. This is a book written by Chief Awolowo before he died about his autobiography. I will later tender the book to the appropriate person, but I want to have the benefit of you listening to what is there so that we can have your opinion.
Let me.
Now, in this book by Chief Obafemi Awolowo at page 172, there is a statement credited to late Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, and it goes as follows.
Yes.
Besides, in spite of his protestations to the contrary, Dr. Azikiwe was himself an unabashed Igbo jingoist. And he gave the game completely away when he said, inter alia in his presidential address to the Igbo Federal Union in 1949, as follows. He's quoting from what Zik said in a speech at a lecture. It will appear that the God of Africa has specially created the Igbo nation to lead the children of Africa from the bondage of the ages. The martial prowess of the Igbo nation at all stages of human history has enabled them not only to conquer others, but also to adapt themselves to the role of preserver. The Igbo nation cannot shirk its responsibility Politically, you have seen with your own eyes how you were disenfranchised by the British. The Igbo nation has never been represented in the Executive Council. Economically, the Igbo nation has labored under onerous taxation measures without sufficient social amenities to justify same. We have been taxed without representation, and our contributions in taxes have been used to develop other areas out of proportion to the incidence of taxation in those areas. It will seem that the Igbo nation is becoming a victim of economic annihilation through a gradual but studied process. This was a quotation, and then Awolowo himself went further to say as follows. In 1948, another Igbo leader and a member of the Nigerian Legislative Council had declared the domination of Nigeria by the Igbos is a question of time. It was clear from these statements and from general political and journalistic maneuvers of Dr. Azikwe over the years that his great objective was to set himself up as a dictator over Nigeria and to make the Igbo nation the master race. It will appear, according to his reckoning, that the only obstacle in the path of his ambition was the Yoruba intelligentsia, and this must be removed at all costs. A situation in which one ethnic group will dominate the others does not accord with my conception of a united and happy Nigeria.
Thank you.
I am implacably opposed to dictatorship, as well as the doctrine of Herrenvolk, whether it was Hitler's or that of Azikwe's. Now, from this text I read out,
Yes.
will you agree with me that that grand design had been there ever since?
So what you are
Before-
trying,
I didn't write it.
to say is
I
that
didn't write
should agree that Zik said that. What Awolowo quoted.
Well,
and
I am
you know
asking-
that this is Awolowo that booted Zik out of the
I didn't write
house.
it. I didn't write it.
And you are saying
And you didn't
I
write
should
it.
agree.
I am asking you, what is your opinion? Just
Your
answer.
opinion, the question shouldn't have arisen.
Are you in a
before.
position to say
The
this?
question is, and this is not for you because I can't ask you questions. The question Nigerians will address their minds to should be, is Zik, or was Zik before his death, a true Nigerian or a tribalist? Of course not.
Listen,
but Awolowo
listen,
would like,
listen,
just-
listen. That is not the issue.
Awolowo would like
We
to paint
all
Zik
have-
as a tribalist. So it is
Listen,
in bad taste.
we all have our respect for
Awolowo
Zik. We
to
all have
write
our
this
reverence for
against
Zik. That is not
and
the
you
issue.
know that Awolowo has never seen eye to eye with Zik.
Please listen. You are to answer my questions,
You are
not to
asking
ask
me
me
to support
questions.
Awolowo against Zik.
You are asking me questions.
I will do no such thing. And I even doubt that Awolowo wrote it.
Now, come. Now, look. I want you to reconcile your last statement when you asked me whether I wanted you to support Awolowo against Zik. Why then did you tell us this afternoon?
Yes.
Just some few minutes ago.
Yes.
When you were being asked by the other council.
I will answer it.
That the major object of that coup was to appoint Awolowo as the president of
Beautiful.
Prime Minister. Yes, Prime
To
Minister.
appoint him.
Yes.
That is
Now,
please,
can you
I want
answer
to
that?
answer this
Yes,
question
I'm listening.
because there are too many things at issue here. Now, Awolowo was to be appointed to lead a government. That is why I said, therefore, it must be the Yorubas who are using us. Read my book. Therefore, the Yorubas were using us. And you read what Onwatogu said in answer to that. Read it.
Look.
I want
Look.
you to be.
Look. Yes, madam.
Attention, I
How
ask
can
everybody to have this.
Yes, madam.
In view of number one, how does this affect your own client? So that we can make progress. You can tender all the things they said and then address us on them. No, number one of the agreement reached after your submissions in the morning. If you want, I read it to you again. Representation by council. Commission accepts that under Section 18 of the Tribunals of Inquiry Act, anybody mentioned in a petition has a right to representation by counsel. The only question that will arise is that such counsel should restrict himself, not itself, only to issues affecting his client, either in his response or in cross-examination. If we are going to throw this overboard, then we open the door wide. And I've told counsel before that there's certain things called notorious facts.
My Lord, yes, my Lord, inasmuch as
There's no need
I'm
wasting
trying to
time
wind up.
drafting all this.
Yes.
You can go on for 20 days. We go on, listen.
No, my Lord, I have been on for just about 30 minutes. In the next 30 minutes, I'll be through. I don't need more than an hour to be through with this witness. Yes, witness.
Go ahead.
You are aware that there are different commissions in the Nigerian Army. Different types of commission. We have the regular combatant commission.
You can't tell me
You are aware more than me. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yes, I know more than you.
Yeah, you know that more than me. I agreed. I concede to that.
I'm aware.
Yes, you have about 4. Now, you will agree with me that Ojukwu was initially not a regular combatant commission. He was converted.
He was
A short service.
He was direct short service
commission. Agreed.
Direct short service because
I agreed.
he came from the
I
university.
agree. You've answered it. You've answered it. Now, the same thing goes to late General
Sir,
Yeah, the same question goes to General Ironsi. He was also not.
he was not.
He was
direct
not.
short service. He was just short service commission.
Agreed, but not a regular combatant.
Of course he
Yeah,
wasn't
of course,
regular.
yes. Now, but what about General Gawan?
He was regular, just as I was.
Agreed. Now, do you know why Ojukwu refused to succumb to the?
Ojukwu said he was senior to Gawan.
Yes. Will you agree to that? Will
Why
you
shouldn't I agree? But you see,
despite the fact?
I said, why shouldn't I agree? But the point is not whether Gawan was, I'm sorry, whether Ojukwu was senior to Gawan or not. Once there is a coup, even if he's a lieutenant taking over government, you don't start confronting the lieutenant, you get killed. So that is where I disagree with Ojukwu, and he knows.
In terms of seniority, I put it to you that Gawan was senior to him. By virtue of the fact that he was a regular combatant army officer.
You don't do seniority that way.
It's okay, I've heard you.
It is
I've
not
heard
the
you.
way seniority
I have
is done.
heard you. I have heard you.
If
That is-
Ojukwu was a colonel when Gawan was a lieutenant, Gawan could climb up and reach Ojukwu's rank.
Do you remember?
But still became
I have
inferior.
heard you. I have heard you. Let's make progress. Do you remember Colonel Adebayo's committee?
Which Adebayo's committee? I know Adebayo of the former chief of staff.
Yes, there was a committee headed by him after the coup.
Oh, after the coup?
After the civil war, yes, after the civil war.
Not after the coup,
Yes.
after the civil war.
Yes.
Okay. I attended that board.
Yeah,
yes.
you appeared before him.
Oh, yes, of course.
You remember the sanctions? You remember the report? Anything? Do you remember any part of the
I
report?
was thrown into jail again. You said so.
What
I
was the
thrown
recommendation in respect to your person by that committee?
to be detained.
Apart from that, what about your rank?
I didn't know about the rank, but Nigeria published what they call Nigeria 1966 with regard to events of both the war and the coup. And I was said to have been sacked. But only lately, the head of state, the present head of state, made statement to the effect that all dismissals will be converted to retirement. And we are expecting for this thing to be clarified. So until that is done by the army headquarters, I don't think we should say anything about it.
It's all right. I have heard you. Now, General, that takes me to the
I'm not a
final
general.
issue on your book. Now, you see, there is this controversy which goes around whether or not that January 15, 1966 coup can be referred to an entire Igbo affair or an Igbo coup.
It is not an Igbo
I
affair.
agreed. I have not asked you the question.
You know it's not.
Yes. I know naturally you will say it's not an Igbo coup. Now, but I want to ask you a few questions.
Please,
see whether you will agree
feel
with
free,
me.
please.
You see, in this your book,
Yes.
you wrote about the 5 majors.
Yes.
And of all the 5 majors,
Yes.
only one was not an Igbo.
Beautiful. You are right.
Okay.
You are very right.
Yes. And the one who was not an Igbo is, what do you call his name? General Ademoyega. Adewale
He was
Ademoyega.
never a general.
Yeah. Major,
Thank you.
yes, Adewale Ademoyega.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now, while you were giving evidence before this commission, while it was sitting in Enugu, you told this honorable commission that Major Abisoye is a typical Yoruba man. You said so. I have the cassette. It's here. You say Yoruba man.
Well,
I want to put
only because he typifies Yoruba people.
Wait a minute.
Yes,
I want
okay.
to put it to you that he is not Yoruba. He is Ogori in Magongo in Kogi State.
Okay.
Do you agree? Do you withdraw that statement?
If
Probably
that-
you said it out of ignorance.
based on information,
Yes.
I am wrong. If you are correct.
Yes. That's what I'm telling you. I made a research.
Because
on
you
it.
see, he was my
It's all right.
classmate.
It's all right.
He went to Keshi
Now-
and we assumed that he was
Okay.
a Yoruba man. And I'm happy that he
For-
was the one who wrote forward to the book, Ademoyega's book.
Listen, having agreed, listen, witness, having agreed
Yes.
that 4 out of the 5 leaders of that coup plot
Yes.
were Igbos.
Yes. It is correct.
Yes. Will you agree with me that and having agreed also in your papers in
Yes.
the exhibit submitted by Ohaneze
Yes.
that we have about over 400 nationalities
I
in
agree
Nigeria,
with you. Yes, yes.
which I understand that to mean tribes and different dialects in this country.
Yes.
Will you agree with me that 80% of the leaders of that coup were Igbos?
Even if it's 85,
Agreed.
it's not an Igbo coup.
And you still don't call it an Igbo coup?
Of course it isn't.
Now-
Because Ademoyega claimed that there were only 3 who planned the whole thing.
Yes.
We were co-opted.
Listen.
I hope you
Listen.
understand. We were co-opted.
Listen, having agreed to that, and you recall that the coup took place in Kaduna, in the north, being the headquarters of Northern Region, in Ibadan, being the headquarters.
You are very right.
Yes, and in Lagos as well, but not at Enugu or in any part
It
of the
took
East.
place at Enugu and in the Midwest,
I'm not
but they
referring-
were not effective.
I'm not referring to the coup. I'm referring to the coup, not civil war, not the
The
other.
coup took place at Enugu, and I told you that Jallo took over the radio station, didn't I?
Were there killings?
We agreed.
Were there killings of
I
any?
told you that there was no question of definitive agreement on killings. I told you.
He hasn't finished.
My Lord,
Let him finish. Then
it will assist the commission because this way we will be.
I'll tell him.
Otherwise, I will pray, my Lord, to now abrogate the accord we have reached this morning. Because my Lord has already accepted and we all abide by it. Each council should cross-examine on points touching on affecting its client. This way we are going
talking
around.
to an SAN, you know.
I'm addressing the commission, I'm not addressing the SN. The
I don't
commission-
know whether junior council can advise an SAN.
No, my Lord, I am addressing the commission so that the commission can intervene. My Lord,
Yes. Thank you, my Lord, for the. My Lord, thank you for the protection. I will consider he has the right to talk, but my Lord, I would like your Lordship to recall, to remember, one of the aims of cross-examination is to as much. It's all
In a
right. Let
book
me
on
proceed.
cross-examination,
It's all right. It's all
you
right.
can't tell me about the aims. I
It's
know
all right.
all the
It's
aims.
all right, my Lord. Now, witness, are you attentive?
I am very attentive.
Now, the major reason why you are here with this petition is that you are alleging that the Igbo race is being marginalized. Yes, it's being marginalized. And based upon that allegation, you are asking for a lot of money. Yes, it's being
Ohaneze
marginalized.
submitted
Yes.
a petition
Yes, on behalf of.
on behalf of Igbo.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And I was specifically given the assignment to show that the coup of January 16th.
Agreed,
And you do not want to go on there.
I agree, I
Let
agree.
us clear it first and foremost. Then you can handle the others.
That is an arrangement between you and Ohaneze, not with me or with the commission. Since you are here, I consider you a competent witness to answer my questions. All that I'm asking you is this. Now, can you give us an hypothetical situation where you can say the Igbos are not marginalized? What do you want?
Are
What
not
exactly do you want?
marginalized.
Yes. What exactly do you want?
Let me tell you what I want.
Yes.
And I believe that Ohaneze wants it. And my Lord, I thank my questioner for asking me this question. What I want in this country is for the return of merit. If we do everything on merit, there will be no problem. Every state, every ethnic group will gain merit, not on anything on basis of tribe, not on basis of where you come from. And in this country today, you know that certain people are full-blown generals because of where they come from.
I have heard you.
Even a
but
state.
You see, I have heard you, but you see,
let me finish.
What you are saying.
Even a state.
Listen, what you are saying. Do you agree with me that that is subjective? Do you agree that what you are saying is subjective?
Even some people answer born to rule state, and this is not good for Nigeria.
It's okay.
Not good for
now,
development.
I put it to you that having failed to secure political domination through the coup, your attempts were meant to succeed.
You see, the interesting thing is that our coup of January 66 was not actually meant to secure any political domination. It was never, ever. Ironsi was commanding the army. He was to be killed.
Listen, witness. I'm not asking you for stories. Listen, I'm not asking you for stories. You referred us to another coup which you called a coup in July in 1966. Didn't you?
Of course I did.
Now, you will agree with me that at a point in time, there was no governance in this country for a period of 3 days in that July 1966?
Beautiful, because
will you
the motive July coup caused it.
Listen, can you properly call that a coup? Was that not a reaction to refusal?
You mean that the coup of July 66 was not a coup?
Was it actually? It was a reaction.
This is the first time I'm hearing this.
It was strictly a reaction.
And people were killed in large numbers. And you said it's not a coup.
That was a reaction. That was a reaction to antecedents.
My lord, what is a coup?
With respect.
So my people, that is it. Like, that was so intense, honestly. I hope you guys had everything they discussed in this particular video. For you to know that the marginalization of Ndi Igbo in Nigeria is from far back. Did not start today, my people. And I love what Captain Ben Bule said. In order to stop the marginalization of Ndi Igbo, it's like if you want to give anybody position in Nigeria, make sure that the person merits it, not just because of where the person come from. And that is exactly what we are still witnessing today in Nigeria. So my people, as you can see, he said it like several times, that 1966 coup is not Igbo coup. And IBB highlighted it in his new book. So I hope that that narrative out there, that 1966 coup is Igbo coup, is going to change. And as well as what IBB said, that Abiola won that 1993 election. I believe very soon, some people will also come out and confess about 2023 election, because we really know the winner of that particular election. So my people, I make I bring this update to you guys so that you know what is happening, and also to get more understanding about 1966 coup and also what IBB said in his book. So I hope you truly enjoy watching anyway. Please share the video, very important, because a lot of people really need to see this video. Yes, and also subscribe if today is your first time. Like this video so that YouTube will recommend it for other people to watch. Thank you so much everyone for watching. I will see you guys in my next update. Goodbye for now.
Welcome to Chamber Senior Steve.